First, wanted to start off thanking you all for being here. The goal of this meeting is to quickly discuss Monticello Phase 1 and where we're at with construction, but more importantly, cover Phase 2 and what the next steps are there. If you have any questions, please input those into the chat pod along with your name and an email address. That's just for communication back with you all. That would make that as easy as possible. Also, if you want future correspondence, if you can leave your name and an email address, we will be sending out a few flyers, just notifications in the future. I have a project flyer for Monticello Phase 2 specifically that I'll be sending out. If you leave your name and an email address, I'll make sure that that gets sent to you. I do ask all questions be submitted through the chat pod, and I'll read those questions and then answer them. I'm going to do introductions real quick. First, you got myself, Cody Wilbers. We also have a few other individuals with the city on here. Ernie Longoria has been kind of the co-project manager for Phase 1 and Phase 2. We've been working together diligently, getting these projects where they're at. We also have Lauren Snyder on the line, the city engineer. We've been working with him as well as Steve Hawk, the city's outreach specialist and communication specialist, I would say. So all four of us are on the line. We also have Aaron Castro with HMTB. He's the design engineer for the project and has been very intimately involved over the last several years with both Monticello Road Phase 1 and Phase 2. I'm assuming you all can see my screen, correct? If someone can give a yes to the chat pod, that would be appreciated. Okay. First, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out to me. My email is cwilbers@cityofshawnee.org. You can also give me a call, which I will provide in that flyer that I mentioned. You're here at the virtual public meeting on Wednesday, October 20th. There is an in-person open house tomorrow from 7 to 8 at Horizon Elementary School. If there's any questions you don't feel like were answered here tonight, always feel free to stop by tomorrow and we can discuss those further. I'm sure many of you know quite a bit in the history of Monticello Road. The original project was from Shawnee Mission Parkway to 7900 block. This was included in the capital improvement program for construction in 2008. Plans were completed in 2009 and permanent right-of-way was purchased at that time as well. Due to various issues, the project was delayed and the project is now in the CIP. Phase 1 began in March of 2021 and Phase 2 is scheduled to begin early in 2022. Monticello Phase 1 is ongoing. I'm sure several of you have seen it. Today, we've actually been installing surface course on the west side of Monticello Road from really Shawnee Mission Parkway all the way to the end of the project. That work's going to continue in the coming days to where hopefully all of Monticello Road is paved out by the end of the week. Pavement markings are scheduled for early next week with the roadway hopefully opening by complete of business on Wednesday. There will be minor work throughout after the opening, such as sodding, seeding, fence work, a bit of work on a couple of walls throughout the project. So there will be construction traffic in the area, but the roadway will be open to through traffic, both north and southbound, and as well on 71st Terrace over to the school. Phase 2 improvements will be commencing here in the near future, hopefully the beginning of 2022. The The project includes new alignment of Monticello Road, starting at the end of phase 1, so really just south of 71st Terrace to 7900 block, tying in just north of the 3 and 2 baseball park up here on the south side. There'll be a roundabout at 75th Street. We'll be installing 2 lanes in each direction from that roundabout to the south. We'll be installing 1 lane in each direction with a center left turn lane from the roundabout to the tie-in point at 71st Terrace, or just to the south of 71st Terrace. And we'll have on-street bike lanes, a 5-foot sidewalk on the east side with a 10-foot recreational trail on the west side. And there'll be stormwater facilities, curb and gutter, street lighting, signing, a couple box culverts as well with that part of the project. 73rd Terrace will have a one 11.5-foot lane in each direction. There'll be curb and gutter on each side, and we'll have new driveways to some of the immediate properties to the east and west of what will be new Monticello Road. 75th Street will be extended from Old Monticello Road, which is the current Monticello Road, to that roundabout. We'll have 2 lanes in each direction and 5-foot sidewalks on each side. As far as timeline goes for the project, phase 1 started in March 2021 and should be completed in the coming weeks. Phase 2, we have utility relocations ongoing. I'm sure some of you have noticed them out there the past several months. Construction plans are to be finalized in the coming weeks. Construction bids, we're hoping to advertise this project in late November with construction beginning in early of winter of 2022. And from a completion perspective on phase 2, we are expecting a fall of 2022 timeline. I think one thing that stands out when people hear construction starting in winter of 2022 and ending in fall of 2022 is I use Old Monticello Road or current Monticello Road quite a bit. Are you telling me that's going to be closed for 9 months, 10 months, etc.? And the answer to that is no. Our plan here is to only allow access from the north side to the south side of Old Monticello to be limited to 2 months. So they'll construct this area to the east, and during the summer, after school has ended at Horizon Elementary, they'll come in and tie all this in. So hopefully 2 months later, you can come down here, turn left, and continue that way. Work could still be ongoing to the east. Additionally, from Old Monticello Road, you'll have a dedicated turn lane to go southbound or northbound, and Monticello Road will have dedicated turn lanes to turn on to what will become Old Monticello Road. This is a blow-up shot of 73rd Terrace. As you can see, this is the area north of that 75th Street roundabout, which we'll get to next. There are dedicated turn lanes from Monticello onto 73rd Terrace. Also, you can see some of the relocated drives and new drives throughout the area. We also have 75th, let me blow that up. We also have 75th Street. Here's the roundabout on Monticello Road, and we'll have 2 lanes in each direction with dedicated turn lanes to go northbound or southbound on Old Monticello Road, as well as 5-foot sidewalks on each side. If you do have any comments, you can always email those directly to me. You can also fill out the form in the bottom of the link that is attached. Feel free to feel free to submit that either way. Either way, that will get to me, and I'll reach out, discuss anything that comes up, and go from there. I'd say the main goal of this meeting is definitely to hear your questions, your thoughts, your opinions. If you have any of those, please enter those into the chat pod, and I will try to, or the team here will do our best to answer it and go from there. Currently, we have one question in the chat pod, and it says, what will happen to the current segment of existing Monticello between the new southbound entry and the new southbound exit? Dave, I'm going to unmute you.
Okay.
I'm assuming you're talking about this area specifically, correct?
Yes.
This pavement will be removed. There'll be a drainage ditch installed here as well as here to this reinforced concrete box here to continue flow that's coming from the west to the east.
Okay. Okay.
Connection will be provided to what will become Old Monticello Road through this little turn lane. Also, one thing we are going to start the process on here in the coming weeks is redoing addresses for people that are on what is currently Monticello Road, but will become Old Monticello Road.
So the mailing address will be Old Monticello Road?
That is correct.
Okay.
Any other questions related?
Did I understand you correctly that this portion we're talking about here will be started before the connecting part, or will this just happen towards the end of that construction?
This will happen closer to the end of construction. The plan is during the summer of 2022 when Horizon Elementary is out of school. So the thought process is this area here will be constructed, and they will only have the ability to limit access from I'm going to call it point A to the south of the project limits to point B to the north side of the project limits. They will only have the ability to close that for 2 months.
Okay. Because I'm right at the northern edge of
This area.
that area there. Yeah. So my access will be from the northern part of Old Monticello for the most part.
For that 2-month time frame, yes.
Okay.
You would have to come in from the north, whether that be through 71st Terrace or 75th Street and K7.
Understood.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have another message from Chris Durbin. Have you solicited community feedback introducing another roundabout? From what I hear from my friends, family, and neighbors, they're extremely unpopular and offer little safety benefits. I've also heard that they are unpopular with our fire department as they slow down response times. To my knowledge, the roundabout has been discussed. It was included in the original 08 plans. If that's incorrect, Aaron, let me know. The thought of the roundabout here is just to increase travel time, as both northbound, southbound, as well as 75th Street traffic should be relatively the same, if not 75th Street traffic being a little bit heavier than Monticello Road. It's really, instead of a 4-way stop at this section, to increase movements throughout. As far as safety goes, In my opinion, the roundabouts have been proven to be safer because it eliminates angled crashes or head-to-head collision crashes, as those are more severe and more dangerous and lead to more paralyzing and or death. Roundabouts lead to more side swipes. Not a good crash at all, but those are less severe in nature and lead to less deaths as well as paralyzing type injuries. Chris, would you like me to unmute you so you can further discuss?
Hey, Cody, thanks for hosting this meeting. I guess in just the final point, I've heard feedback from folks in our fire departments that, you know, they make it harder to navigate with the larger engines, especially the tiller. You know, do these roundabouts, are they creating a cumulative effect on response times in our community? I mean, is that something that we've actually solicited feedback from our fire departments on, if they want more of these?
To my knowledge, we have not done that. I think on a positive note for this roundabout specifically, is it is 2 lanes. So it should have plenty of traversable area. There's also design programs to check turning radiuses, and the turning radius should be there. I do understand you have to slow down to 15 miles per hour and go from there, and that does slow response times down, but in general, the safety benefit that has been seen by them from the engineering community, I think they are something that will be installed as needed. I think they serve their purpose when the situation is right. And with how we see traffic at this location, it does seem like it fits the situation well. I have a question from Anne. I'm not sure I understand how the north end is cutting through behind the houses to bypass the curve on Old Monticello. Anne, I'm going to unmute you.
Hi, yeah, thanks. I just was trying to visualize how those are connecting, because I mean, that's basically the whole point of this, right, is to bypass that curve. So there's actually room, you're coming in behind some of those houses? You're not actually taking out houses, are you?
There are no houses being removed at this time with this project. In 2008, one house was condemned for the design of the project. That occurred back in 2008, 2009. At this time, no additional housing is needed. Temporary construction easements were either still current from back in 2008, 2009, or we are going through the process now of acquiring the ones that have expired. Those are temporary construction easements, which I like to explain those as basically land rentals. And if trees or landscaping or things like that are affected, the residents are compensated for. So yes, we will be going through, I would say, people's side yards and backyards in the area to construct the new Monticello Road.
Okay, yeah, it's hard to visualize, you know, but I can see the requirement for that, to straighten it out, to improve traffic flow. But anyway, thank you. I had a question about that.
Yep, thank you. I have a question from Karen. It says, could you tell me more about the elevation on New Monticello and where that will be at 73rd Terrace and south towards 75th Street? I'm going to pull up the project plans for that. This is the roundabout here. As far as elevation goes, just to the north of the roundabout, there is a fairly deep cut throughout that area. We will be filling in the proposed grade quite a bit there. The current elevation is at 900 and just a little bit below 930 feet, and we're going to be raising that up to 960 feet. As we move to the north towards 73rd Terrace, that cut obviously goes away, or that valley that currently exists. And then you see existing grade in this dash line, and we follow the existing grade pretty closely as we continue north. And here's 73rd Terrace here. And again, we do follow current grade. And when I say current grade, I mean the grade before the stockpile being placed there. So imagine that stockpile being removed. Because Karen, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you live just to the west or southwest of where Monticello will go, and 73rd Terrace. So that'll be cut closer to what was existing grade before phase 1 kicked off. So that stockpile of material will disappear. I'm going to unmute you to see if that answered your question or if you have anything else to add. I'm actually not seeing you have audio, so if you have anything to add to that, can you shoot me another message? Karen asked, sorry, will the new elevation be lower and by how much? Lower than the previous grade? At 70, are you talking about specifically on 73rd Street? I think you are, so I'm going to go there. So here's 73rd Street here. Monticello Road is right through here. So if you're talking to the west of 73rd Terrace, there is a slight cut to start off. That's to gradually work your way into what 73rd Terrace will be. The deepest cut in any of that area, it looks to be 4 feet near your driveway, which is right in here. It's about a 1 foot cut, not even that. So that is how that area is laid out. This cut here is just for a smooth transition to turn in and out of 73rd Terrace onto Monticello and vice versa. So over here, there will be more of a cut, and that'll work its way out as we work towards the west. Any other questions related to that? Okay, thanks, Karen. I have a question from Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Will phase 1 residents be subjected to construction traffic for phase 2? I do think there will be some construction traffic in the area. This will be a construction entrance. I'm assuming everyone can see my screen again. There will be a construction entrance where Monticello Road currently ends to the south. I do think that'll be used. Also, this project is a fill project in general. So we do have the mound here at 73rd Terrace, but additional material will need to be hauled in. Can't guarantee where that comes from. because we can't control where the contractor gets that material. My gut reaction is they'll either come from K7 off of 75th Street to get in this way. If it's coming from the south, they'll probably come up Monticello Road and get the material onto the project this way. Or if it's coming from the north, they might come in through Shawnee Mission Parkway and down Old Monticello or New Monticello from phase 1. It seems unlikely. I just can't guarantee that. In my mind, there will be little construction traffic for the phase 1 individuals, but there will be some. And Lisa, I don't think you have audio. Let me check. Oh, you do. Would you like to add to any more to that, Lisa?
Hi. No, I just wondered if, I just know how destructive it was here for a while. So I just wondered if they'd be tearing up the new road that we have out in front. So.
And that's something we can look into as well. I do personally like the idea of them bringing in material off of 75th Street from K7. So I'll look into that, and I'll stop by at some point and kind of talk to you about that too, after some conversations with a few others.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. And one thing Aaron did just note to me, that this is a general note on all of our plans, is the contractor is responsible for repairs on haul roads. So if damages occurred, they would be required to fix those. Obviously, with that being a new roadway, we would prefer those damages. Well, I would prefer those damages not to occur on something that's only 6 to 7 months old. Thank you for that, Aaron. Any other questions? JG asks, will the 73rd construction end at Brockway? '73rd construction will not end at Brockway. It'll end really just past the first couple houses. It goes about 200 feet west of where the the new Monticello Road will be placed. I do know there are some potholes through this area from a haul route for the storage that's located on the south side of 73rd Terrace. Those potholes will be repaired and fixed with the phase 1 project. That work is scheduled really probably in 2 weeks time frame. We'll be marking those up. They'll be in there removing those really significant holes and repairing those. And those are on both Brockway and 73rd Terrace. But the improvements, the curb and gutter will not go all the way to Brockway. JG, I'm going to ask to unmute you. If you got anything else with that question, please let me know. I'm assuming there's no other questions with that then. Chris asked another question. Old Monticello, south of 75th, will remain as a 3-lane bypass to get to 83rd. Old Monticello will remain as is. So this will stay as it is currently constructed and built today. As you work your way towards the tie-in at New Monticello, it'll turn into, Old Monticello will turn into New Monticello, and there'll be a turn lane to the south, a turn lane to the north, as well as 1 lane going up. Chris, I'm going to unmute you again to see if there's anything you would like to add to that. And then I'll
Yeah,
get
sorry,
to the second
Cody. And
question.
I saw this the first time you shared it, and I apologize. I guess I didn't understand the big picture there. So in between where New Monticello merges in, is that stretch of road going away? So there's only going to be that curved intersection in the future?
Correct. This here section of roadway, I guess you could call it the triangular piece to the west. This will be removed. Part of it will become a drainage, well, a good portion of it will become a drainage ditch to make sure our flows work correctly and we get everything continuing to move downstream. So this here piece, currently just a lot at this location, will become a drainage ditch. This will all be removed and we'll be cutting ditches in here to assist with that flow. Yeah, this whole roadway will be removed at this section. So you'll turn into what is New Monticello.
I mean, is that just going to be a stop sign, or is it going to be like a flashing red light, or?
This will just be stop controlled.
Okay.
So not a stoplight or any signal or anything like that, just a stop sign. And your second question, will there be any modifications to that stretch of road beyond the addition of the intersection? I think we discussed that as well. And no, it'll be at this time, just tying this in at that location, as well as tying it in at 70, well, what will be 75th Street extended. And no other work will occur related to this project. Any other questions? From a correspondence perspective, if you do leave your name and an email address, I will be sending some flyers out. I think one thing that's been helpful for people on phase 1, and I guess correct me if I'm wrong, Lisa, is my name, number, and email address is on there. If anything comes up, you can always reach out during construction, and I will try to work with that item, work through that item with you and try to come to a good solution. Anne asked, is there any plan to upgrade the intersection at 87th Street? Are you talking about 83rd Street to the south?
Yeah, sorry, I meant 83rd.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to double check. At this time, that's not under conversation at this point. Things always change quickly. Traffic patterns may change quickly with this project, and I think we'd assess that at that time.
Yeah, because I mean, it's already kind of difficult to make left-hand turns out of there, and I feel like if there's going to be a lot more traffic, that's going to be an issue. Is that tie-in, where is that with respect to 3 and 2?
This
The-
tie-in is just to the, I'm gonna enlarge in this. I know this isn't the biggest. Right here is the turn into the park, just north of 3 and 2.
Okay. So, okay.
And Lauren, I'm gonna reach out, I'm gonna tag a friend in. Lauren, is there a signal project scheduled for 83rd Street coming up? Or Ernie, do you know of that as well? There might be a signal project scheduled. I'm not 100% sure about that, so I can get back to you on that at 83rd Street.
And Monticello. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
kind of was wondering.
So yeah, Lauren did say there's a project in the works with Lenexa that we're working on. So,
Okay, because yeah, I'm just anticipating if there's a lot more traffic there, that's going to be impossible to make left-hand turns out there.
so if that signal project is in the works, so we're working with Lenexa on that.
Okay, thanks.
Dave asked, when will phase 2 construction begin? Our goal is to have this advertised in late November. From there, we're hoping to get approval from council, the first council meeting in January, with construction to begin rolling shortly after that. Obviously, we have to get the paperwork signed between the contractor and the city, as well as Johnson County, and have a couple meetings, pre-construction meeting, discuss that. So our goal is that we're moving dirt, I would say middle to late January. So I think that is when you can expect construction to begin on phase 2. Dave, I'm going to unmute you to see if there's anything else you would like me to add to that. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, it did, Cody. I just was curious, will they do construction from both directions, or is it going to be strictly a north to south?
We are leaving that up to the contractor. My assumption is, and this is just an assumption, I would assume they are working from this point going south. They have access from 73rd Terrace, so working south and north from 73rd Terrace and working this way as well.
Okay.
It's a fairly large project, so I think they'll be using forces from several different ways to tackle it.
It appears that it's more of a project than phase 1 was, so I was just curious if that 1 year, January to fall was feasible.
One of the positives of phase 2 versus phase 1 is there's, I would say, less utility conflicts. So we're hoping that assists with construction. There's also less traffic control needs. Is really the traffic we're affecting is going to be on Old Monticello Road here, and then making sure everyone has access on 73rd Terrace. So there's a few reasons we think they can move quicker.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Does anyone else have any other questions? I'm going to unmute you here, Chris.
Thanks, Cody. Sorry, this is a deeper question, and it's probably not entirely one that you can answer, and it kind of trails on the end of the remainder of Monticello between uh, Old Monticello and 83rd Street, but McLean, being at the end of Monticello there, just north of the 83rd Street intersection, there's quite a lot of problems with semi trucks parking in the middle turn lane there, creating traffic backup even into 83rd. One day, there was a semi truck parked completely blocking access to Monticello Road. You couldn't even turn onto it. So, I mean, we know this is a problem. I know this is probably more for the police department, but are you aware of any design considerations or public-private partnerships with McLean to fix this problem, maybe at their expense? I think they even got a tax abatement years ago for their property, so I think they should be partially on the hook to, pay for some of the problems they're creating. But I'm just curious if you happen to know of any proposed solutions to that issue.
I do not know of any, I guess, of that conversation or of any proposed solutions. Lauren or Steve, if you have anything to add there, I can unmute you. I just personally don't know at this time. I would say with that signal project, hopefully some of that will be discussed at that time to where we can figure out a good solution for that. That would be my hope.
Yeah, I mean, it gets to the point. I mean, the 3 and 2 ball club that's over there, they've had to put up gates to keep the trucks out of their parking lot because they've had, that parking lot's not paved for the loads, so they've had problems with property damage. That was more years ago than it has been recent. Since they put the gates up, they haven't had the issue. But more recently, in the past, I'd say 1 to 2 years, I've been seeing more trucks parked down 75th Street. Even, some of them will go down Silver Hill and, hunt for a place to sit themselves until they, have time to go unload or before the gates open at McLean in the morning. So, I mean, there's definitely some big issues, and it's not just at this intersection. It's spreading farther because of the trucks going to look for places to park. It's going to create more issues on our surfaces. I mean, you've seen the damage it's done on Monticello. I mean, that damage is just going to spread throughout the area.
Steve, do you have anything to add?
Sure. This is Steve Hauk. I'm the business liaison. Yes, we're quite aware of the McLean situation, and we are trying to deal with it in light of the other industrial development that's going to occur up there by 3 and 2. The project on 83rd Street with Lenexa may go some distance in solving that problem. And then that's all I can really say right now. But yes, we're very aware of the situation, and we are working towards a solution with McLean's.
Okay. And I mean, I don't know that you can necessarily tell me this, but is McLean going to help fix the problem they've created?
We are nowhere near that in our conversations right now.
Okay.
I do want to remind everybody that the in-person public meeting at Horizon Elementary is scheduled for tomorrow from 7 to 8. So feel free to come out and ask any more questions, or if anything comes up from this meeting and you feel like maybe stopping by, you can get some more questions asked or questions answered. We'd love to see you all there. At this time, feel free to provide or input any more questions. I'm going to hang around till 7, so if anything comes up, let me know. We'll try to talk through them. And again, if you provide your email address as well as your name, I can send you project flyers as well as information and my contact information, so we can continue this conversation that way. I am going to stop recording now. If any questions come up, I can restart that.